May 2024, and hello to my new friend. Anyway, so anyway, this is just a live little read here. Again, it's a general reading. It's not going to be speaking to each and every one of you for your timeline necessarily, meaning that you don't all make decisions on a Saturday, so take it as it resonates. So in other words, some of you might be in this energy currently, others of you, it might be energy that you're working through further out. But either way, for the most part in May, what I see is so again, some of this might move even into June, but what I see here is that there is kind of a stuck energy for where you are right now. What I want to say is that, you know, given a lot of the other cards here, things are going to change. That's not going to be how it remains. So the hangman energy does speak to also being in that space where you need to kind of let go, reevaluate where you are. It is a major arcana, so that means it's a big event that's kind of happening right now. But either way, you're in a period of pause. So this is when you're in a period of pause, it means you're reevaluating, you're really looking at things right now, looking at self, all of that. So it's where you're trying to shift yourself to take a new perspective, basically. But either way, when that happens, it means you have to sacrifice some of the old, so some of the old self, some of the old familiar beliefs, some of the old comfort zones, some of the cathartic ways that we deal with, you know, thinking about our life. So if we always thought about our life in a negative, then, you know, we're letting a part of that go. And even when we let go of those things, that can also be a period of release that's uncomfortable. But either way, this is where you're not rushing things. This is, again, you're trying to reframe a situation. So where you were feeling stuck, this is where you're going to flip that perspective and start to see a new point of view, see the situation from a different perspective. And it's also about looking at things, you know, from that point where it's an insight. So you're following your intuition to a certain degree here. So again, it's the wait, it's the pausing. You're trying to get a sense of where you are and evaluating all the things that kind of interrupted your thoughts or your life at this time. So something that is kind of keeping you in limbo is where you are, and you're trying to figure out a way to kind of relinquish control over that. So it's getting the ego out of the way, saying, why me? Why are things not a certain way? But it's also helping you to unlock, you know, a future where you can unravel the ego and just be free. So there's something here about you kind of going through a question and answer period, really. So you're trying to perceive things differently so that you can get clear on the way that you want to move ahead. So the other part of the hangman, again, this is for sure, it's, as I said, it's a stuck energy and it's the big energy out here. So this is really where you feel right now currently. But it's also that space of, you know, again, the advice for that card is to let go. It's a pause, but it's where you might even be a little bit too, when you are stuck in the ego, it's like you get to that period of frustration, and things are also held in suspension, but it's also going to be a period just before something opens up. So you're just about to go into a transition. So that means that the hangman is pausing you so that you can go into this space of finding deeper meaning and purpose in your life. So it's almost like this is where you might have been confused, but now you're having to, you know, because of pain or setbacks, but it's where you're trying to adjust your point of view. So again, whatever those destructive habits were that you were hanging on to, this is that card that tells you release those things. So it's also that in that same sort of spirit of, you know, getting rid of toxic connections or toxic people around you that kind of bring you down. So it's almost feeling a little bit more lonely, but feeling more independent in another way. So it's almost like they say, even to be a success, a lot of people, you know, unable to be success, you can't be surrounded by thousands and thousands of people because you can't ever get your work done. You can't do the things you need to do. So it's pulling back and finding ways to really hone in and focus on the things that you really want and the things that are really important to you and what you believe, because you will always, you know, open up and make new friends or new connections and new, you know, um, new businesses and whatever. All those things kind of come after a point of a pause because you're going through a transition. So again, your old way of life is sort of falling away here, and this is where that block is being broken down so that everything can kind of move forward. So you are in a shift. You're in a period of a shift right now. Sorry, I was just reading. Is that Amanda? Can't read the. Sorry, I can't read the name because of where I've got it positioned, but Amaret? Sorry if I mispronounced that. um, I'm just trying to read your comment there. Well, this one's a free reading, but if you did have a question, yeah, I guess I could do that for you too. But I'll start with this first, and then I'll kind of do that toward the very end. So for this one, again, it's you are in a period of changing your perspective. You're really in a period of, again, shifting something. So that can be physically, spiritually, it can be all of it. But either way, this usually is an indicator that some kind of unhappiness or something that's going on. So you are trying to get past something. And I want to show you the next card that's below that. So that indicates to me that it's around the past. So it looks like you need to shift out of, something from the past is holding you back here. So it's not that we let go of everything and cut everybody off, but a lot of times it's about putting up some boundaries and kind of spending more time around, the things that help move you forward. So again, when we get to that Six of Cups, um, when we get to that Six of Cups energy, sixes, of course, are all about balance and harmony and, closer to the goal than you think, sort of energy. But when it's the Six of Cups, it's in around your happiness, and it usually is around nostalgic things. So in around family or in around friends or anything that represents the past for you, that seems to be where you need to release some of that energy, where you have to shift the perspective. So, sorry, I was just trying to read your comments there. I'm sorry, I can't read the name there. Is it M? Okay, hold on one second. Amruta? Sorry, Amruta. Yeah, no, ask your questions. That's okay. I'm just going to do it at the very end there. But anyway, yeah, so anyway, back to the Six of Cups energy. So it does indicate that you're in that space of feeling like the past is holding you back in some way, or somehow there's a lot of nostalgia going on here. You're just really thinking about the past. Again, could be childhood friends or anything from that space here. And it's almost that energy of, I feel stuck by them and I have to release something, because you're searching for some kind of new beginning here. And it does show up as the Fool card later on. So for sure, you are definitely in a cycle of shifting away from all of this energy here. It's just like it's once you begin to believe something again, remembering who you are and all of those things, those thoughts become your reality. So when we get to the Wheel of Fortune, this is a card of highs and lows, ups and downs. So it's almost like you're going to be in that space of back and forth, while you're thinking about this thing from the past. And again, it could be a significant relationship or something to you that was heartfelt for sure, but you're feeling stuck or trapped by it. So right now you're just shifting through that and you're almost through it. So again, some of you might resonate a little further out, but the Wheel of Fortune is a card that indicates you are almost in the conclusion of all of that. That is a major arcana, even though you are not quite into that Wheel of Fortune, but you're certainly you're going through the motions of it right now. So right now it's kind of back and forth, but you are almost out of this energy. So you're about to make some kind of a decision here. But again, the pause is the Hangman to sort of figure out what you need to release, what you need, what's important to you, how to get clarity, on what it is that you can trust and all of that. So again, there is some kind of, reminiscing around the past or a connection, a desire to connect with someone there again. But we also have the Wheel of Fortune. So again, that is a connection to luck. So it does mean that luck rides with you. So right now there's kind of a ride it out with the ups and downs, but it's also where you're putting into play, new methods of thinking, new belief systems, kind of redefining who you are. So you're at a turning point in your life here. And this does indicate that this is a big period here. So you are currently in the energy of feeling blocked, and it has something to do with the past, because there's a lot of nostalgia and thinking about the past going on right now in May. But you're also at a turning point. So you are just about to discover life purpose, what it is that you want, who you want to become. So, you're not going to be blocking your progress once you release whatever it is that you feel is toxic or holding you back. So it's almost like, if I can't control it, I'm just going to roll with it. I'm not going to take it and personalize it. I'm just going to be a lot more free flowing and do the things I enjoy to do, because it's almost like your timing was off or something before, but it's almost like if you're just spinning your wheels and not going anywhere, you have to reevaluate things. And that's what I feel you're doing. You're reevaluating and releasing things. So that's how you're going to kind of rebalance everything. There's something here about, even with Wheel of Fortune, it can be, even though you're about to sort of discover life purpose, because the Fool card and all of that comes out here, there's still a lot of work yet to do in this kind of rebalancing act, but there's almost suppressed emotions here and a resistance to change. So there's something here around the emotional and the mental imbalance of the mind. So you just want to make sure to kind of breathe through it. Sometimes they say it's a good idea to create two frames, a picture frame, one that's kind of shoddy and horrible, and put the thing that you're constantly negatively thinking about in that old negative frame, and then create a new frame that's shiny and sparkles or lights or whatever, and that picture frame, see your life as you want to see it. So you're constantly moving from letting go of the past in the old frame and seeing your new life in the current frame that has, what it is that you desire. So either way, it still takes some kind of releasing of the old. And that means your old idea of who you used to be and how you saw yourself. And it's starting to take responsibility for your actions and your thoughts, and really seeing yourself as, maybe making some compromises, but doing it for the greater good, so you're trying to make, the right connections that are more healing or advantageous to you. So we also have the card of Eight of Pentacles. That is a card of working hard at something. So it does tell me that, once you surrender control, with that initial card of the Hanged Man, once you surrender control there, and trust the universe, and make some sacrifices of getting rid of the old thoughts and the old negative patterns or old beliefs or whatever there, it's because that's all about sort of ego oriented things, but it's definitely a willingness to not let go. Like I said, there has to be a sacrifice. You have to let go of that old mindset of who you thought you were, and kind of reconnect with that inner child again with that Six of Cups. So you're kind of reconnecting with that energy of, who you, bringing the innocence back into the good person and the good things, and the things that were going right in your world at that time, not the bad things. But even though the bad things actually shape us and make us stronger, because if everything was good and we were hit with something that was, a little negative, it could really throw you for a loop unless you actually were more resilient. So resilience pays off when you take some hits. I'll just put it that way. And we've all taken the hits. And it usually is hits on the ego, and it's usually hits around, because a lot of times there's people that are jealous out there as well. And so they've gone through their pains and then they inflict more pain. It's just kind of how life cycle goes. But it's really about remembering who you are, because once you define who you are, it takes a lot to kind of, shake you. If you really remember what's important to you and why you're doing things. Why do you, give of your time to someone else if they didn't appreciate it? Because that's what you feel is important. But at the same token, know your limits. Sometimes if it's unappreciated for too long, then you kind of get to a point where, well, what's the point? Why bother? Because it's you putting out time and energy when you could be putting it into yourself. So it's knowing when to fine tune that balance, basically. But either way, the Wheel of Fortune is trying to bring some balance back into your life here. So again, trying to get clear on the picture. What are the goals? What's important? Concentrate on yourself. Concentrate on your own work here, because the Eight of Pentacles is all about that as well. So Eight of Pentacles speaks to putting in the hard work, putting in the labor, not afraid to, really focusing on education or lectures or workshops or anything, any skill building qualities here. But it's definitely even putting it into a hobby, but it's actually putting in the work, and it's more of a long-term futuristic task, because Eight of Pentacles is not a short-term thing. This is somebody who has to every day wakes up and says, I'm going to spend more time on building me than I am at a job, or as much time on me as I do on my job. Because what you do in, personally, is in developing all of your skills also, creates more options for you, obviously, in the work world, or, and you don't necessarily see all the connections in your life when you start building your world. When you're young, you start to dabble and try different things, but you'll oftentimes see that it is in line with your own belief systems, and then you can actually connect all those things a lot of times over the long haul. as you get older. But either way, 8 is a card of mastery. So you're working towards something here. It's a long-term sort of investment, and it's definitely knowledge and expertise that's coming in here. Not only that, there is another card that also shows mastery and knowledge and expertise, and possibly upgrading it with someone else coming in here as well. But either way, this is a card of hard work, practical sort of effort, and it's definitely building self-worth and confidence. And that is something that comes from, teaching or learning about the things that help to, kind of build your enthusiasm, because you have to have a willingness to learn to have this card. So you are in that space of, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to take on some kind of new assignment or some new interest, basically. But either way, even in terms of romance, it's paying attention to the little things, the things that are anything that's going to help you to do something consistently is what that speaks to. So again, I still feel like this is practical, one foot in front of the other kind of energy. Definitely feels like you're upgrading yourself in some way. There's not a lot of I don't see rash changes in your life. I feel like it's a bit of up and down, but it's almost like you're about to transition into something that's going to be completely different in your world, really stabilize you. So we also have the Knight of Swords. So that means some kind of communication is coming in pretty rapidly, because the Knights are all about action, and it does mean conquering something. So you are conquering some aspect that does seem to be in around self-mastery, or even around, the ego. But you're conquering something on an emotional level here. Well, I shouldn't say emotional, more of ego-based, because emotions is usually the cups for me, but this is more around communication and around doing the right things. So it's really symbolizes more of that bravery to kind of get out there and do what I got to do, to make the exchange of an idea, or really focus on a point, or really focus on a path. It's also about communicating in a really logical way. So, really committing to saying what it is that you want to say, and doing it in a very direct way. So if there is something here around writing or books or anything like that, because this is a card of communication, I would say that's strongly coming through, and especially too if there's some kind of ambition, that you're really trying to commit to. I feel like you're doing it successfully, and there is going to be some information that comes through here, that kind of speaks to that. So then when we get to the next card here, so we've got the Seven of Wands. 7 is definitely a very lucky card. Wand is all about the action as well. So there's something here with that also speaks to you really making a difference. So 7 is also about spirituality and really putting things into order. But I feel with that Seven of Wands card, you're really in that space of, and that could actually be the card that speaks to, because this is a defensive card, this can also represent you being a little bit, defensive in some kind of communication. Maybe something moved too fast or something like that, but you're feeling like you need to defend yourself in some way. So again, this could be in around that energy of taking a stand, saying this is how I feel, and that kind of thing, communicating on that basis. But it's still speaking to, even for others, it'll be on a writing basis. It looks like things are kind of moving in a good direction, where you start to see some increases, but you're still a little bit guarded energy here. I still feel like you're maintaining your strength here, and it definitely feels like you're meeting a challenge. So someone might be kind of testing your belief system a little bit here and putting you in that defensive position, but you're overcoming it. So like I said, really good energy there. So I wouldn't be too alarmed, because I feel like you're in a really good position. Um, the other part of the Seven of Wands is that it is advantageous around, maturing. It's a card of maturing as well. And even though you feel misunderstood, it feels like you are choosing your words wisely, you're battling wisely, and you're still in a position of, uh, you're still in that position of meeting the challenge. Like I said, it's almost though where you believe in yourself more, is what I would say there. I mean, in terms of romance, I would say you're still afraid of kind of getting hurt here, but it feels like you're going through a phase of some sort here, and you're just getting clear on who you are, who you want to spend your time with, what's important to you. That's what's happening here in the month of May. But I feel like your beliefs are going to be a little bit tested here in this month. So again, just to kind of recap, you have to sort of, the Hangman and the Six of Cups was all about sort of surrendering there, to control. There's something here about sacrificing the ego, get the ego out of the way, and just be real, just kind of be who you are, and enjoy who you are. There is a lot of reflection that's going on with that Six of Cups, so you have to kind of let go of some element of the past, because you're focusing too much on something that's keeping you stuck. So that energy tells me you need to open up to the good experiences from childhood or the past, or whoever this represents as, that's from the past, friend or family or otherwise. But it's because you need to grow, and there's a lot here about personal development, and there's definitely a lot about the childhood, and a lot of things going up and down here. um I was just reading your comment there, KM, that you have an ego for sure. Yeah. Well, because it kind of gets to that point. Like after a while, like when you start getting too many people, saying, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or you're this, or you're that. After a while, when you hear too much of it, after a while, it's like, okay, back off. I'm not your puppet. Like, at some point, you kind of get to a point where it's like, okay, too much. Now I'm just going to be me, because there's just too much like nattering going on. Everybody wants to control something to sort of level themselves up. And that's why life is really an ego hit constantly, constantly. Doesn't matter if it's work, family, friends, whatever. You really have to be pretty strong to kind of endure. And that really does take a little bit of those pains on a regular basis to be able to build up that resistance, because it's just constant all the way through. But either way, I mean, the whole point is the Wheel of Fortune is bringing in a cycle change for you. It is a bit of up and down cycle, but now that you're at that Seven of Wands, again, things are constantly in motion with that Wheel of Fortune, but there is a change, and that is the big shifter in life. That is the big change card. This one is the one that tells you that, step back, remain flexible, because you've got that step back card, which of course is the Hanged Man. So step back and remain flexible, because you're going through a transition. Things will balance out here eventually. So this is that opportunity to heal emotionally and let go of those traumas and, things from the past. That's what's going on there. You're focusing too much on the negative things of the past, when there's still, some positives that were going on in the past. So yeah, we can't hang on to those good moments, but we can, if you know what I mean. It's like you can hang on to, that's, it's like living eternally in a sense. You can remember those spaces, or remember that book, or remember the thing that happened while you did the other thing that was positive and happy. You can remember those good things. They won't stay, they don't last forever, because you have to move on to the next thing. You have to grow, you have to be optimistic, and you have to push yourself outside the comfort zone. And that's where the unfamiliar is, leaves you with those, nervous, with that level of nervousness. And I'm just thinking I should turn my car on here, guys. 1 second here, because I'm going to put the light on, because I don't know if you can see the cards as well. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I think my radio might come on, so give me 1 second. Okay, so yeah, so back to Seven of Wands. So, I mean, that card is really, again, there's a lot of opportunity here to kind of heal emotionally, let go of something from the past. There is going to be some kind of swift change, definitely going to be a positive, because of the Wheel of Fortune coming out here. But now with the Seven of Wands, your next card was the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is a card of independence. It's someone who feels pretty good, you know. This is somebody who really has that sense of, I'm okay with myself, I'm okay, I feel independent. You could be feeling pretty good about your money situation, although I don't specifically see that one as the main energy, but it is definitely a card that speaks to, kind of leveling it up a little bit here. So either way, there's a sense of fulfillment here with the Nine of Pentacles. And as I said, I mean, the nines are definitely about close to completion on something. So you're still about ready to transition. The energy that you're mostly in, though, was the Hanged Man. That was the stuck energy. That was the major arcana. So you've got a little bit before you kind of get into this space, but you're at least touching that energy. And everybody's going to work through it a little differently. But Nine of Pentacles is self-reliance. You're independent. You feel like your resources or your money are doing okay. And again, whatever okay is for you, but it's still a really good card of, significant amount of money could be made here futuristically. But I feel like you've got a real talent, and I definitely feel like there's ability coming through here. Talent is definitely present. I do feel like, again, like you're undergoing some kind of a change, and it feels like a breakthrough on a subconscious level to the conscious level. So I feel like you have to heal through this path, and it's a journey that is kind of solitary, is what's happening there. So, that energy is a space of, I have to heal me before I can really introduce myself to somebody else again in the world or whatever, because we do have to be kind of going into relationships fairly whole. Otherwise, you end up working through more pain. All the traumas from the past kind of resurface, and then it's back to stage one again and trying to work it through and just hope that somebody else is willing to do the growth with us, right? But either way, Nine of Pentacles, like I said, I feel like you're really in it to win it, so to speak. Like you're committing fully to whatever it is that you want to do. So if you want to make great changes in your relationships or personal growth, I just feel like this is the opportunity for you to really make advancements, do big work. A lot of growth and progress in this period. So there's a lot of effort and a lot of dedication coming through, especially with that Eight of Pentacles to the Nine. So that's ones to the next. And there's a lot of Pentacle energy here as well, because even with the Three of Pentacles, this is upgrading yourself. This is coordinating with someone else. This is that energy of beginning a new phase, but still putting in the work. So you have a very strong work ethic, and you're really staying focused on practical elements, like you're really getting things done, is what I would say in the period of May. And again, maybe this is you trying to prove something to yourself, but either way, I just feel like you're not afraid to face the obstacles because you see what's on the other side of it. On the other side of this is independence and money and upscaling something. The Three of Pentacles is feeling more assertive, more confident in your abilities. And again, you have a talent here. There is definitely talent coming through. And now you're upgrading that talent. You're upgrading your skills in some way with that Three of Pentacles. So again, I really feel like you're in a space of, kind of asserting your boundaries there, protecting yourself, feeling like you need to kind of prove yourself. But, I still feel like you're getting more confident in moving ahead, that you do have the resources, you do have the skills to succeed. You do have this sense of a new beginning starting for you. And you're not afraid to put the hard work and the effort and dedicate to it. So the next thing out is, of course, to follow would be the Fool energy. So again, these are all just the clarifiers, but you are definitely in a space of a new beginning, and kind of going back to that space of innocence, that place of I feel good again. I feel like I'm myself again. So by May, I feel like there's more of a carefree, sort of adventurous spirit. And again, I still feel like there's teamwork involved here, to help you sort of build your skills and make things really strong for yourself. But you are on a path of success. This is, really mastering your craft and adapting to the new ideas. So it's going to require you to take a leap of faith in the future here. You're not in that space yet, because you're kind of working through the stuck energy, and you're also going through a big transition. So this is what you're working toward for sure. But I feel like, again, the challenge for you this month in May is to let go of past hurts, negative patterns, anything. There was an indicator that you could be dealing with a younger person, or you could be a younger person, but I still feel like there's just a lot of energies of committing to yourself again, and it's almost like you see the new horizon, you see the new start here, but it's almost like you either you've got to release something here that is a pattern that's related around the past. You have to release that first before you get there. So that's the big stuck energy. But again, some of you can journal or whatever, and they say live in the moment. So in other words, every day you wake, there's actually a guy who's successful that says every day that you wake, pretend it's a brand new day, and nothing happened in the past there that is, relevant to you building on you, making you the best you can be. So every day work on your skill set, because that skill set, whether it's building up your emotional resilience, building up, there's books, there's YouTube videos, everything is out there at your disposal. It's even more at your disposal than it was in the past. There's so much information out there. But either way, you're completing, or you're getting close to completing a cycle. And it's like a long, difficult realization here, because this is also in that same month in May, the World card. That means Some of you are going to work through a little faster than others, like I said, but the World card tells me you have hit some kind of sudden realization. It's like, you know, the World card tells me, especially when it's followed up by the Page of Wands, which I guess I can bring over there. I'll bring that forward here in a sec. But, you know, this is that come full cycle sort of energy. So it's a long journey. It was a completion of a cycle that was difficult, but now it's like there's a realization of who you are, and it's a newfound sense of freedom. So you are becoming much more independent in the month of May. There's a certain sense of inner peace, contentment, like you've accomplished some kind of milestone in May. I don't know what it is for you. It's all going to resonate a little differently for each of you, but you know, whatever those past hurts and negative patterns were, again, this is the completion of that, because you are now willing to take risks, pursue those goals, put in the hard work, dedicate to get something done. You are willing to persevere. And because of that, by the time you hit this World card, and again, for some of you, it's the touch of it in May at the end, probably the end of the month. And then it'll probably be working through even further beyond that. But you are now going to be moving into a space of getting some communication in the month of May that helps you to realize that things are actually going in a really good direction. Because again, it's in around the hard work card here with Eight of Pentacles and Mastery. So it's almost like you get a little defensive, maybe a little resistant, but there's some kind of help that comes through here to help you to get better at something that you want to be better at. And again, this could be cooperation in business, could be a tutor, could be a mentor, whatever. For each of you, it's different, but it is some way of helping you to concretely make changes. And of course, to finish it up, we have the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is that card, again, could be dealing with a younger person, but it's also news coming in. So Page of Wands with the World card is, again, completion of that difficult cycle, newfound sense of freedom, feeling a lot more peace, a lot more happiness, willing to let go, willing to move forward. It's got a lot more energy and enthusiasm. So you're about ready to start a whole new cycle here. So, you know, with the Seven of Pentacles, the seeds that you've planted in the past is basically telling you that whatever you've been putting hard work and effort and time into, you've planted some seeds, and now you have to sit back and kind of wait for that to build up, you know? Because the Seven of Pentacles, again, still sevens are lucky numbers, but the Seven of Pentacles tells me that you have put in a lot of dedication, and there's something here now that you can actually start to look at as, you know, you triumphing over some kind of practical problem or difficulty or situation that you had. So actually things are going to start to kind of, people are more willing to work together with you on something. And it seems to be more in a tangible, practical sense. Like it's not on the emotional sense where somebody's calling you and saying, hey, it's more along the lines of, let's physically do something together that, you know, helps to promote you or helps to, you know, make something better. It's taking the steps to make some kind of lifestyle change or make a change of some sort. So it's a card of keeping on, but it's also kind of a wait card. So Seven of Pentacles, as you can see, he's waiting, but it's also, you know, now you're kind of made a breakthrough, and now you realize that you have to step back and figure out, you're focusing on your goals now because you've planted the seeds. So there's something here that you've cultivated, something you've made a pretty good base for, and now you can start to look forward to the next part of the goal. So again, Seven of Pentacles, hard work paying off, and you're benefiting from that. So you're ready to move on to the next project. So excellent reading for you guys. And again, you know, you can celebrate here obviously pretty soon, because we're just going to read the last cards out. I forgot. There's one more here. So these are the cards. I don't read this one very often, so I am going to have to refer to the book on this one, guys. Give me a second. Because this one is... oh, what did I do with it? Sorry, give me a second. Anyway, again, it's kind of repeating a lot of what we said there anyway, because it does speak to, yeah, gates of triumph. So you know, success expands in your life, and I'll just kind of read into it because I can't find my book. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay, I lied. Found it. All right, because again, I don't read these ones very often, so I usually just read the tarot. But anyway, this is the Sacred Traveler's Oracle Cards Guidebook. So triumphs, gates of triumph. So you're at the gate, basically. It's pretty much what the tarot had indicated anyway, that you're at some kind of a triumphant period of change. So success expands in your life, and that card basically says, give me one second. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward anyway, but you know, that whatever it is that you're focusing on, there's something here that you're thriving now. So it's about, you're about to reach a goal. Something that you wanted is about to come in here. So whether that's love, prosperity, fame, fortune, whatever it is for you, something is coming in for you. And you just have to surrender to the journey. So again, that's the Hermit card all over the place here. Release control. You just have to start trying to control every aspect, or you know, thinking things should be a certain way. This is where you have to kind of let things flow. It's that card of, you know, turn the challenges that you're faced into something more along the lines of, it's a part of the path. If you see it as something that will stop you, then it'll stop you. And, you know, you don't have to do everything alone, because things are guided, you know, in some way. You're connected to other people that can be supportive. If not your immediate surroundings, then you seek outside, and there's usually someone that's fairly close that can help you to sort of, you know, get back on track. But either way, so that whether it takes somebody else, a mentor or whatever, to come in and help you out with releasing some of the baggage, then so be it. But there's a lot of self-help stuff out there, a lot of YouTube stuff that really speaks to, you know, how to get rid of some of our toxic thoughts or behaviors or actions or attitudes, how not to personalize things. All of that is out there. So we've got grace and gratitude. And of course, that's just being more thankful for the things that are around you. So yes, everything is not going to be perfect, picture perfect, but we can certainly be thankful for the things that were good moments in our life, or good, happy, you know, happy moments, or good times, or being thankful for small things, you know, having a book to read, having food to eat, or whatever. But it's starting to appreciate sort of the small things that are around you, because sometimes we look at the bigger picture, and we kind of refer to, why don't I have this, or why is this not? And this is more about bring it back down to the small things. Be in gratitude for that, because your attitude will speak volumes to the bigger things when you can appreciate the small things. Card of transformation is obviously you're about to move into some fresh new way of living your life, basically. So this is about huge transition. You're going through a huge transition. So this is about, you know, any old belief or idea that you had, or feeling about who you thought you were, is now upscaling. That's changing. You're a lot more determined, or a lot more inclined to, you know, support yourself, and find the things that are supportive around you to kind of make the things that you want shift. So if you couldn't get all of that from your immediate surroundings, you are definitely transforming you, which is going to bring about new people and new surroundings, because the old stuff has to fall away. It can't, you know, other people want to keep us in a box because that's how they define us. That's what's familiar. But once you get into that space of, now I don't define myself by that box anymore, people will resist that. They don't like to see change. They like to know that they've put you in a box, and you're going to stay in that box, because that's how they are most comfortable dealing with you. So like I said, you are on some kind of big change in your life, and I feel like this has to do with your you know, your self, your ego, you know, you're transitioning something on a personal level, which is going to open up to great successes for you. So it's not just about that one thing. It's also about, you know, whatever you've been tangibly putting yourself into, that's about to change. So whatever you immerse yourself into, it's going to be coming back to you. And that's actually the best way of learning something. You know, they say, even for a lot of success books and so on, you know, they say, immerse yourself in whatever the topic or the subject is, or the thing that you have interest in, and you will be immediately, you know, kind of rewarded, because you don't realize how much time and effort it takes to put into things. If you really hate doing something, you do realize how much time and effort. But sometimes you just need a new way of looking at the learning. So if someone else, like I remember I had a teacher that was psych or whatever, that was really interesting, and I really enjoyed the way that he taught. He did like magic tricks and stuff like that in the class, and I thought that was fantastic. I mean, it just enhanced the class, it enhanced the learning. So, sometimes you just need to find the right person to teach you something, and everything just explodes or expands. So anyway, however that resonates for you, business or otherwise, I just feel like you're on the precipice of something huge. Something is about to change in your life, and you are definitely seeing yourself in a whole new way. Keep moving forward, Aries, and never give up.